Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a fair and kind-hearted king. His kingdom was prosperous, and his people were very happy. This beloved king had 12 daughters, each more beautiful than the other. All 12 princesses would pick flowers in the palace gardens, play music, and paint. They were all graceful, kind, and talented. During the day, they spent their time joyfully and returned to their rooms early in the evening. However, their father, the king, had been noticing something strange about his daughters every morning for a long time. Even though their rooms were locked at night, in the morning, all the princesses' shoes were found worn out, torn, and dirty. Their father had grown very tired of buying them new shoes, because all 12 princesses would wear out even new shoes within a few days. Neither the king nor anyone in the palace could make sense of this mystery. One day, the king summoned his advisors and asked what should be done to solve this secret. But no one could offer an explanation. The king began to fear that something bad might happen to his daughters. Finally, the king made an announcement in the palace. Whoever solves the mystery of the worn shoes will receive whatever reward they desire. This news quickly spread throughout the entire kingdom. Many princes, nobles, and brave young men came to the palace to solve the mystery. Each spent 3 nights in the princess's room but learned nothing. In the mornings, they had to leave the palace tired and without answers. Some said the princesses never left the room at night, yet the shoes were still worn. One day, a brave and clever soldier heard the king's announcement. He decided to go to the palace. On the way, he encountered an old woman. The woman asked him where he was going. The soldier told her about the king's announcement. Realizing the soldier had a good heart, the old woman gave him a magic cloak. This cloak will make you invisible, but remember, honesty and patience will lead you to victory, she said. The soldier thanked the old woman and arrived at the palace. The king welcomed him warmly and explained the same rules to him. He would observe the princess's room for 3 nights, but if he couldn't solve the mystery, he would have to leave the palace. He would observe the princess. The soldier began to secretly wait at the princess's door. The room was silent, not a sound could be heard. The girls appeared to be asleep. But time passed. When the palace clock struck midnight, all 12 princesses rose from their beds at the same time. They were wearing sparkling embroidered dresses. They moved very quietly and spoke in whispers. One of the princesses walked toward a hidden corner of the room that no one knew about. There was a mysterious door there. The princess opened the door. Behind the door, a stone staircase led downward. All the sisters, dressed in their fancy gowns and new shoes, began descending the stairs one by one. The soldier couldn't believe his eyes when he saw what was happening. He immediately remembered the magic cloak the old woman had given him. He quietly put on this cloak and silently followed the princesses. Just like them, the soldier went down the stone stairs. At the end of the path, a dazzling forest awaited them. The trees in this forest were unlike any others. Their leaves were golden and their fruits shone like silver. All 12 princesses quietly walked through the trees to the edge of a clear lake. The soldier, still invisible, continued to follow them. At the shore of the lake, there were 12 boats, some adorned with pearls, others glowing with magical light. In each boat stood a handsome prince waiting for the princesses. The princesses smiled and got into the boats. The soldier quietly jumped onto the back of one of the boats. One of the princesses felt that the boat was heavier than usual, but she didn't give it much thought. The boats crossed to the other side of the lake. There, a gigantic crystal palace awaited the princes and princesses. Wonderful music could be heard from inside, and the princes and princesses were eager to enter. The soldier was deeply impressed by the palace he saw. Just like the princesses, he also entered the palace. The ballroom of the palace was decorated with colorful and glittering stones. Huge chandeliers lit up the room so brightly that it almost looked like daylight. The princesses danced and enjoyed themselves in this dazzling hall until morning. The soldier observed everything carefully. He didn't interfere with the girls' fun at all. The second and third nights passed in exactly the same way. The soldier wondered how he could convince the king of what he had seen. First, he took a few of the golden leaves. Then he put one of the unique crystal glasses from the palace found nowhere else into his bag. He was sure he could present them to the king as proof. On the morning of the third night, the princesses climbed the stone stairs and returned to their room through the hidden door. They lay in their beds as if nothing had happened. The soldier was happy, thinking he had solved the mystery of the worn shoes. He immediately went to the king. He described everything he had witnessed over the 3 nights, leaving out no details. At first, the king didn't believe what he heard. He thought the soldier was making it up and asked, "Well, can you prove what you're saying so I can believe you?" At that moment, the soldier took the golden leaves and the crystal glass from his bag and handed them to the king. The king couldn't hide his astonishment, because in this country there was neither a tree with golden leaves nor a glass made from such special crystal. The king praised the soldier. He immediately summoned his daughters. The princesses had learned that when they hid something from their elders, the truth would eventually come out. So, they confessed to their father, the king, why their shoes wore out so quickly. The king told his daughters that having fun wasn't a bad thing, but he feared something dangerous might happen because they kept secrets. The 12 princesses admitted their father was right and apologized to him. Of course, the soldier's honesty, patience, and bravery earned the admiration of everyone in the palace. Even the eldest princess was so impressed by the soldier's courage that she fell in love with him. The king believed that this honest soldier deserved his daughter and gave them permission to marry. A grand wedding was held at the palace. People from all corners of the kingdom came to celebrate this happy day. The palace gardens were decorated with flowers and musicians played songs. After the wedding, no one in the kingdom ever kept secrets again. And so, the soldier and the princess carried on with their lives, smiling, honest, and happy, with the old secret nothing more than a memory.